Sometimes when you're watching maybe a video on YouTube or looking on the internet and you see a card or an idea that you'd like to try, then you think about how you can achieve it. Recently I watched a video by Jennifer Maguire where using dies she cut this lovely bookmark which she turned into a card, and I thought, oh, that'd be so nice, I want to give it a try. So here is how I went about it. I started with some text. Now I'm going to start with a text called Madeline, and that's because I've played around with my fonts and that's the one I want. Don't you find the hardest thing you can do is find a font? So I'm going to type the word beautiful, and also while we're on text I'm going to go to a single line font, Jelly Bean, and type You Are So. Okay, just going to put that down there for the minute, but first of all I'm going to change it to a draw with a pen. Okay, now back to our beautiful. With all fonts on a Design Space, they end up apart like that. So what you do is change the letter spacing up here. Generally what I do is start with 0 and then decide where I want to go from there. Now they're still not quite close enough. I'm going to concentrate on the bow, B-E-A-U. So what I'm going to do is just watching, happy with B-A, just a little bit more. That looks okay. Now I've also got this on bold, but if you want to change it you can go to regular or bold. I wanted this bold, it just gave it a little bit of thickness. Now that's as much as I can do without, if I went any further, let me show you what had happened. You'd end up with lines poking out, and that's not what I want. So 2.2 is where, oh, that would be right, wouldn't it? Oh, it's minus 2.2. Should put me the B, the A and the U. Is that okay? Okay. So now where I want to be, I'm going to go up to the advanced and ungroup the letters. Now, clicking on a letter, using my arrow keys, I'm just moving it across. These two are joined fairly well together, so I can move them together. And the U and the L's, whoops, the U and the L's joined together too, so I'm just going to... Okay, when I'm happy with it all, I'm going to highlight it all and weld it. So it's now all one piece. But I do have a couple of little pieces in there that I'm not happy with. Now, generally you can go to contour and take out things like that, but this is actually an overlap of nodes. So I could take that one out if I wanted to without any trouble, but I can't take this one out and I can't take that one out, which are the three things I want to fix. So contour is not going to do it for me this time. So I'm going to start with shapes. Now I'm going to start with a little circle, put it over there, just making sure where I want it is and want it, and it's welded. So it's taken away that little gap there that I wasn't happy with. Now, the other two are going to take a rectangle, so very thin rectangle. So I unlocked it and I have resized it. So I'm just going to not up quite high enough. Make it a bit wider. That looks good. I'm going to duplicate that because I think the F's going to be very similar. Again, you can only weld two things. You can only have two things highlighted, so you need to do these one at a time. Oops, not happy with that. Just a little bit out there. Unlock it again and just move it over a fraction. And that's the good thing about undo. You can undo it. If you're not happy with it, that's better. Eventually in making the bookcase, I'm going to have to stick these little, paste these little pieces in. So I want as few and as less fiddlier ones as I can have. So let's have a look at that. That's about where we want it. So we'll highlight that and weld that. Okay, so that's the word we want. Now I want to make a shadow layer, but of course we can't at the moment do that in Design Space. That may be a feature they will add, but it's not there at the moment. So what I'm going to do is turn off the grid, which is this little square right at the top of it, of the matte area. I'm going to open my snip and do a new one. Oh, rats. Just let me close that for a minute, because what I need to do is unclick so I haven't got a box around it. So we'll try again. Go to new. So I'm just going to sort of draw around and make sure I've got all of it. Okay, I'm going to save that to my desktop, and you can see I've been playing with this. Okay, there are two programs I use to fix this sort of issue. One is Shortcuts a lot, but that costs money. So if you don't have that program, one thing you can do is use Canvas Workspace, which is made for the Brother Scan and Cut. And since I used to have a Scan and Cut, I was quite used to this sort of software. So it's a free account and it's free software, so you can do that. So we're going to go to here, which is the image tracing, an image from my computer, and I just want to pick the last one. Now it's done all the outside, which is all I need. I don't need the little bits in the middle or anything like that in this one. So, but if you did, you can trace areas by color, but I'm going to stick to the outer edges. Click OK. So what it's got here is, you can see in the layers pad that it's got the picture, then it's got the shapes. So what I'm going to do is delete the image, and I'm just left with the shape. Okay, now I am also going to delete the eye, because from this point of view I don't need the eye. Now what I'm going to do, highlight, go to edit, create offset line. I'm going to do this at 20 millimeters, which is 2 centimeters. Click OK. It's what I want. It looks quite large, but I want to put some text in there, and I can reshape it on my in Design Space as well. So got that there. Again, I'm going to go to display and hide the grid, and click off it, so I can again do a snip and save that to my desktop. Go back to Cricut Design Space, click on upload, upload the image. It'll be the last one, which is that one by the look of it. It's a simple picture, so continue, click there, and I'm right. They have changed the size of these, so now the print and cut is on that side. Now I've got a bit of a line in there, but I'll be able to fix that in a minute. So I'm going to upload that. I could have fixed it in the tracing of the image there. Okay, insert the image. Now, let's go out a bit so we can see what we're doing. Okay, this, if we go into contour, we should be able to... Now, we can see we've got two shapes. Not sure why, and then we've got all these little shapes. I'm going to hide all contours. Oops. Okay. Like if I stop clicking it, I'll be right. Okay, hide all contours. So the shape is filled. I know it's what it wants. I'm just going to make that a different color so I can see it. Okay. So now we need to make these the same size. So I'm going to send it to the back and make it a bit smaller. And that is about where I want it. Okay, now we've got your "you are so." We've changed it to text and drawing. So I'm just going to resize it so it fits in there. Oops. Oh, move you down. I think it's going to sit about there. Okay, so I'm going to send that backward so I can pick this up. I think it needs to be just over a little more even and maybe down a bit. So it's, no, down definitely wasn't in the idea. So what it's going to do is write the "you are," cut out the beautiful, and cut out the background. Now, I'm going to, we've got that in as a pen, we've got that, we're going to attach all of that, or actually before we attach that, we're going to duplicate the background, the back layer. So I'm going to highlight all those and attach. Did I attach or did I? Yes, I did attach. It's going to cut out the beautiful. Okay, so I want to duplicate that and I want to flip it horizontal. I want them to overlap just shortly. Just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to align them center vertically, just to make sure that it's equal. When they're just, I only want them overlapping a little bit so there's a fold, I'm going to weld it. So this folds on the, just in there. I'm going to cut this on my joy, so I'm not, and it's only a little fold, so I'm just going to manually do that. But if you were doing it on your maker, you could put a score line in there if you wanted to. So I want to make this a different colour, simply because I'm just going to bring that to the front. So what you can do in the end is glue that on the front. Now I'm going to cut two of them at once. Both these backgrounds I'm going to cut in white. Both these backgrounds, I guess, I'm going to cut in white. These I'm going to cut once in white and once in some coloured paper. Now the coloured paper can be any choice that you want. Oh, actually, what we should do first of all is make 17 centimetres is way too big. So let's go down to 10, and it would have been more sensible to do my, let me just delete that again, duplicate that. It's easy to do it at the right size. So I'm going to duplicate again. I'm going to flip horizontal, just a small overlap, highlight both, align center vertically, and weld, and change the color. Okay, right. So I'm going to cut two of those in white. Then I'm going to cut one of these in white and one of those in a pattern, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. So with my joy, I'm going to make it on the joy. You can do it on the joy or the maker, but it will require a larger mat because it is longer than the small mats. So you may need to do it on the, I can change that to 2, apply it, and I can get the 2 out of the one piece so they can cut in one go. Now, we'll start with this one. Okay. I'll show you this and then I'll go off and cut them. Because I want to do these in different materials, what I'm going to do is hide that one. I can still cut a second one and draw a second one, but I'm not constrained by the having to be the same. Or what I could do also is, now that I've hid it, is unhide it. I can't unhide it, but if I didn't hide it, I could put it further down and have 2 different pieces of paper on my mat, but I'm going to cut them separately because I want to use different colour pens too. So that's it. So I will come back and show you how to put this together. Okay, so here are the pieces. I cut them either end of my long mat, but what I'm going to do first is just lift off and leave my hole cut out there. This was a bit of alcohol ink that I had. Whoops. Just want to cut the outside edge. So just lift the outside edge. Now, we are going to need all those little bits in there. So I thought I'd try. This is just Post-it tape. Cut that there. And using my scraper, I'm just going to go from underneath and try and carefully lift off everything, including the pieces. Now I've just got, oops, just got one piece I need to put in there. This one needs to be turned over. I've got one missing off the T somewhere. That's the last L. Fiddly, but it's easier to do it this way and start with it all together. So the Post-it tape is just holding it all in place. There's a little bit for the T. That is a very fine piece. These pieces are very easy to lose. And just make sure we've got everything there before I... this piece looks like it's turned over. Oh no, it's not there. Oh, there it is on the mat. Trouble with these really tiny pieces is making sure you put them in right way down. Okay. Reason I'm doing it this way is if we now carefully lift just lifting the outline now. Leaving the little inset pieces in there. Just a little bit at a time. Now you want to be careful that you leave the, if you're using this sort of font with the T, the dot on the I, because you want that to stay there. So what we're just doing is removing is the cutout without all the inset pieces. Now slowly, slowly, slowly. It's not fast by any means. Whoops. The pieces just moved, so I'll just hold that there so I don't. Okay. So that gives me that bit. Now, just need to put my piece back in there. In a minute I'm going to move the actual word off, but for now I'm just going to leave that one and do the other one. This is a bit thicker than the photo paper, so it might be might be easier, might be more difficult to use. Okay. So again, just lifting it off carefully, making sure my bits stay in there. These bits are staying in a little too easily, which worries me a bit, but we shall. Oh, yeah, that's it. I'm missing two little bits, so let's just get this done first. Okay. The other thing, oh, The other thing with this is that because I'm using a different colour postage, what do they call it? Post-it tape, I can easily see that they're all there. Okay, now comes the fun bit. So, what we're going to do is carefully taking our folded part, which just folds in the middle. I'm going to take some glue. I use art glitter glue, but any glue will do. This is on the right side, of course. Okay, just going to carefully spread that around with my finger. Then I'm going to stick this part on there. Now I want the white word beautiful. So now we're just picking up. A little piece just came out. Let me put it back in there. Just picking up the word very carefully again. Probably should have done this before I glued it. Leaving all the extra bits in here. Oh, actually, it's these ones I want. So, oh yes, we'll have to do this. Just picking up the word and leaving behind any little bits. I just realised I'm doing this one different to the other one. But I'm underway now, so I'm just going to leave it. And keep going. Being careful not to tear the word, being careful to leave all the little bits behind. I'm going to leave the eye there, the dot on the eye for the minute. And I would suggest you do this before you put the glue down. Make sure I haven't picked up any of those bits. And then it's just a matter of fitting it in the cutout space. Move that A over a little bit so it's sitting in the right spot. I think I must have that piece in there. Let's just have a look. My glue is too dry. I'm going to have to put more glue in there. Just need to take that piece little more glue. That's why you need to do that first so you're not re-gluing. Oops. Okay. U A E B. Now, I'm going to wipe that bit of glue off there. I've got a bit of glue under there, so I want to be careful that I don't tear this at this point. Now, this one will be a bit easier because I've already taken the outside edge off, so this time I've just got to be careful to leave the little bits behind. Now, it's not quite as easy as I thought it would be. I'm going to have to put a little piece in at a time. That is... it's that bit. Oops. A little bit of glue on there. Just put a bit on my spatula and just wipe it up the back of that. And then you just need to glue in every little bit. Oh, my ink wasn't quite dry, so you need to be careful of that too. But there you go. That's what it looks like when it's done. I'll come back when I finish the other one. Okay, this one I've done a little bit differently. What I've done is, that's the white cutout, and I've just stuck the alcohol ink thing in there on the masking tape. Now what I'm going to do is, I will fold that first. Okay, glue over it. What I'm going to do is go backwards now and just line it up on the post-it note like that. Now, just wipe that glue off, just carefully pulling back the masking tape, just making sure, whoops, I've got the white eye there, I need to take that out. You know what, I think I'll colour it. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this out and put the coloured one in. And I've got this piece here that's come out, so I just need to put that in. Did I just turn that upside down after all that? It's in there, but I think I've glued it upside down, so I'm going to have to colour it. Oh no, there it is there. These tiny little pieces. I need just a bit of glue there. Wipe a bit of that off. There you go. So there it is, all done. So that's the way to do it, is to use the masking tape. It holds all the pieces in. You saw how fiddly it was gluing little bits in there. You end up with 2 bookmarks which just slip over a page like that. Now you can put that into a card if you want to. I was just going to give them as bookmarks, but it's up to you. I've got a couple of little pieces in here I've got to find. But that's it. Bookmarks, very easy.